Lake Tahoe Community College, Spring Quarter 2020. Now, last week I introduced the Yoga Sutras and gave you a basic outline on the 8 limbs or the 8 branches of our yoga practice. Now, the Yoga Sutras were written roughly about 2,500 years ago by Patanjali. Patanjali was a doctor, he was a dancer, and he was a grammarian. 2,500 years ago, the teachings of yoga were mostly oral transmissions. Written word wasn't as common as it is now. Well, at the time when Patanjali was on the earth, there were many different schools of yoga, many different concepts and techniques and ideas of how to reach that state of union, which is what the word yoga means. So Patanjali took upon himself the opportunity to codify the teachings of yoga, place them into one book, and that's the Yoga Sutras. There's about, depending on the translation, there's about 198 little short phrases in the Yoga Sutras, and they're broken up into 4 different chapters or books. We call them padas in Sanskrit. So that's the basic idea of this book, is that it guides us from a place of darkness to a place of wholeness and light. It's like a roadmap, a guidebook for your yoga. Well, in this book, Master Patanjali speaks of 8 steps or 8 limbs or 8 branches that enable us to get to that place of light and wholeness. The steps start off with the yamas. Now, yama means restraint, to avoidances. And there's 5 yamas. The yamas are things that help you get along better with others in public. The first yama is AHINSA, or nonviolence. And you can see right away how that would help you get along better with others. We're not just talking about a physical nonviolence, you know, refraining hitting someone or hurting someone, their physical body, which is part of it. But it can also be much more subtle, and as a yogi, like you are, you should be practicing these more subtle aspects of being nonviolent. Think about what you eat in the course of a day. Is it healthy and nourishing to your body, or is it harmful? I mean, is it Cheetos, or is it a spinach salad? How about like what you're watching on TV? Are you watching a lot of dramas? Are you seeing a lot of violence in your shows? Things that stir you up or get you tense? That's putting violence in your head. Yeah? How about the words that you speak? Are they kind? Are they compassionate? Are they uplifting to others? Or are they a little snappy? Can they be a little, I'm just saying it like it is? That's violent, right? Our second yama is satya, or truth, or non-lying, truth, non-lying. And that comes into play right there with what I just said. If someone says to you, well, I'm just telling you like it is, yes, they're telling the truth, and we want to make sure that we're always walking in the truth. But aren't they telling that truth in kind of a violent way, like a harmful way? They have to be balanced. If you can't speak the truth in a non-violence way, don't say anything at all. Just don't say anything at all. So truth, are you being truthful with your employers? Are you being truthful with your partners? Are you being truthful with yourself? Sometimes it's hard to tell the truth. You must find a way, and you must find a way to do it gently and non-violently. Our third niyama is ASTEYA, or non-stealing. Don't take anything that isn't freely given to you. Don't take someone's possessions. Don't borrow something and then not return it timely. Don't take or steal someone's energy or their opportunity to learn or their time or their self-esteem. Yeah? In asana practice, when we're being physical on our mats, we practice non-stealing, ASTEYA, by not taking from one part of our body to support the other. We engage the whole body. We don't want to put too much weight in our arms in downward facing dog, because then we're stealing that weight from the legs. Our fourth yama is called Brahmacharya. Now, Brahmacharya, if you have taken vows, like monk vows or nun vows, then it would mean celibacy. It would be refraint of sexual activity. If you are a householder, like I am, and most likely you are, it means being faithful to your partner, supporting the relationships around you, rather than causing discord between a couple, helping them come together and solve their problems. These are ways that we as householders practice Brahmacharya. Keeping your sexual energy pure and sacred and devoted to one person. Our fifth yama is called APARIGRAHA. APARIGRAHA means non-hoarding, or non-coveting, or non-grasping. Yeah? Have you ever seen the TV show, speaking of junk TV, Hoarders? Yeah? If you just keep taking things and not letting things go, you're going to create a tomb around yourself of suffering and of objects. So always keeping it light and free. Give away what you don't need. Share with others. It feels good, and it makes room for new, fresh, beautiful things to come into your life. So those are your 5 yamas, and that is the first step on your yoga path, is to practice these restraints. They will refine your mind, they will refine your body, and they will strengthen you for what is to come later. So let's begin our physical practice now. All right? So come to your mat and set yourself down. Take a little hip support, a blanket underneath your hips, and then cross your right shin in first. Take your left to the outside, tuck your foot underneath your shin. Catch hold of your knees, turn the eyes of the elbows up, lift your chest as you press down with your thighs. Let the shoulders release down away from the ears and level your chin. Now take a deep breath in, huge breath in, expand the lungs, expand the ribs. And as you exhale, close your eyes, bring your palms together to the sternum chest. Moisten your lips, draw your tongue back into your mouth, and let your tongue rest on the lower palate. So just softening your countenance, your facial features, the hinge of your jaw, the little muscles around your eyes, your cheek muscles. And start to tune in, drawing your senses inward. Notice your breath. And striving to keep the belly firm in this position, engaged abdominals. Doing that, you'll notice that the breath is more responsive and obvious and prominent in the rib cage. So as you take your breaths in, see if you can expand your ribs in all directions. And see if you can expand your ribs from the base of the ribs all the way up to the top of the collarbones. The exhale reverses that as the breath exits from upper throat collarbones down the rib cage, and at the base of that exhale, navel in towards spine and up towards sternum chest. Just kind of wringing out that last little bit of breath and inhaling again, fresh, new energy. We call that energy prana in yoga. We'll begin our practice here with 3 ohms. So joining in with me, you'll Om right along with me today. Listen to the sound that you make when you Om. You should hear the ah first, and then the ooh, and then at the end of your Om, the lips vibrate as you and then you stop. The fourth part of your Om is silent when it's reabsorbed back into your body. So all together, making the sound of Om 3 times, or the sound of Amen, or any other sound that is significant to you. Exhale to begin, empty to be receptive, and inhaling, climb the breath up the rib cage, up into the throat. Now bow your head to your heart as you surrender the intelligence of your head to the intelligence of your heart. We take a moment here to honor those who have gone before us, grateful for their teachings. Sage Patanjali, Sri BKS Iyengar, and all our gurus. And we bow here to our greatest teacher, the one that resides within us. Now with your chin bowed, maybe you can feel the breath move a little deeper into your back ribs and behind your shoulder blades. Give it a try. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, float the backs of your hands down to your thighs and turn your palms to face up. Relax your fingers. As you inhale, slowly and smoothly, draw the chin up to center. And then as you exhale, allow your eyes just as slowly and smoothly to open. All right, let's come to standing to begin today's practice. I'm introducing a few new arm positions and a few new standing forward extensions. Let's get started. So come to the front of your mat. And stand in Tadasana, mountain pose. Remember, it's also called Samasthiti, equal standing pose. Bring your big toes together and have about 2 inches between your heels. Now, if you have lower body modifications, lower back strains or injuries, hips, knees, ankles, or feet, best for you to stand with your feet hips distance wide. But if there's integrity in the lower part of your body at this time in your life, celebrate that. Bring the big toes together and take a couple inches between your heels. Now rock forwards and back just a little bit to find your balance, to find your center. And then when you feel all 4 points of your feet engaging down into the mat, big toe mound, little toe mound, inner heel, outer heel, then imagine here that you can place a half an orange underneath the arches of your feet, the inner arches of your feet. Now lift those inner ankles. Lift your arches. Start to wake up your feet. Now, firm your kneecaps and try to pull the knees up towards your hips. Just firm the thighs. Press the upper thighs back. Draw your pubic bone up as you engage Mula Bandha, your root lock, and Uddiyana Bandha, your flying upward belly lock. Broaden your collarbones, reach your arms down next to your sides, and take a few deep breaths here with a soft gaze forward, and the corners of your mouth relaxed and maybe even turning up in a smile. Start to train your face to hold a naturally pleasant expression right here. Now, let's circle the winds. Let's continue our practice that we began last week in vinyasa and linking breath with movement. Remembering upward movements and outward movements are inhalations, downward movements and inward movements are exhalations. I'm going to turn to the side and we'll begin. Inhaling, lift your arms above your head, nice straight arms, sweep the arms up and gaze up. As you exhale, take a little bend in your knees, you're just getting warmed up. Come forwards and down, let the head and neck release down. Tuck your chin into your chest just for a moment. Now hands come to the shins. Inhale, straighten your arms, URDHVA, half forward extension. As you exhale, bring your fingertips to the mat and pull your palms up as high as you can. Step back as you step back with your right foot. And then flatten your palms and step back with your left into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Spread the fingers wide, press away with the arms, and take a little more weight into the legs. Now on your next breath in, flow forward, come forward to all fours, and inhale, look up, untuck your toes. As you exhale, round your spine, pressing back to child's pose. Stretch through the arms and the sides of the waist. And again, if your knees are a little bit tight, you can place a blanket right back there behind the knees, or you can just keep your hips up a little bit higher. Now look to the front of your mat, and on your next breath in, stay down low to the mat. Come forward as you breathe in, and once your shoulders are over your fingertips, lower down, bend the elbows straight back, upper arms hug the sides of your body, forehead touches the mat. Now reach your arms straight back towards your outer ankles. Inhale and lift your chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and pull back with the arms. Tuck your buttocks towards your heels. Take one more breath here. And then as you exhale, forehead comes back to mat, arms bend, hands plant next to middle ribs. Inhale, come up to all fours. Exhale, press back to child's, stretch through the lower back and the hips. Inhale, up to tabletop pose, and then gaze up. Take a little back bend between the shoulder blades. Keep your belly firm. Tuck your toes under, and as you exhale, press the hips up and back into downward facing dog. That is the circling winds vinyasa. Now step your feet a little bit wider, or a lot wider, even to the sides of the mat. And then bend your right knee, let your left heel come down. And then switch legs, lift your left heel, and let your right heel come down. Bend the left leg. Do this again. Inhale, straighten right leg. Exhale, bend right leg, and let left heel come down. Inhale, straighten left leg. Exhale, right heel down, left knee bends. Now come up on all 10 tippy toes, bend both knees. Lift your hips as high as you can. Get length along the spine. And then straighten the legs, press back through the heels, and let the head and neck relax. Just 2 breaths right here. One more breath. And then look to your hands. And walk yourself to your hands. Take your time. The knees bend. And once you're up close to your hands with your feet, hips distance wide, bend the knees, let the torso rest on the thighs, and take your hands into the crease of your elbows. Let the head relax down. Keep your knees in line with your feet. Let your torso rest on your thighs and take a nice healthy bend in the knees. Stretching and warming up the lower back and the hips. One more breath in, take it into your back. Exhale and let the arms just ragdoll down. And then bring your hands to your shins and rounding your spine very slowly. Start to walk yourself up your legs. Chin tucks into the chest until the shoulders are over the hips, and then the head comes into a neutral position. You're starting to feel a little heat in your body? I hope so. We're going to do some arm work now in Tadasana. I want you to get your block, and we're going to use the block to educate and strengthen and stabilize our legs, okay? So find your block. And I'm working with a wood block today. We're going to take this block and place it right between our inner upper thighs, squeezing the block and lifting the front of the pelvis to balance the hips. Now, reach your arms, squeezing that block, toes face forward. Make sure your toes are facing forward and they're in line with each other. As you inhale, reach your arms above your head. Keep squeezing that block and pressing down into all 4 points of your feet. Straighten the elbows, straighten the fingers, and now bring your palms together above your head in URDHVA NAMASKARASANA, upward prayer position hands. Push the palms together, tighten the elbows, shoot them up past your ears, and take one more breath in. As you exhale, keep the palms together, bring them to the sternum chest in Namaskarasana. Notice how you press your palms together with more firmness, it broadens the chest. And then exhale and release your arms down next to your sides. Good. Now reach your arms straight forward for URDHVA BADDHANGULLYASANA, upward bound finger pose. Interlace your fingers in the natural familiar way. Turn your palms to face away and have your thumbs touching. Straighten the elbows and don't forget about that block between your thighs. Give it a good squeeze, press down into your feet, and then lift your arms. Noticing, perhaps you can notice this, that the more you firm your thighs and the more you push down into your feet, like the higher you can lift those arms, the higher you can lift your side ribs. Deep breath in, keep your lower bandhas engaged, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, roll your pinkies back. Take one more breath. Exhale and release the arms back down. And then again, reach your arms forward one more time. This time take the less familiar interlace. Turn your palms to face away, tightening the elbows, pressing down into your feet. Inhale and lift your arms above your head. Breathing here, warming up your shoulders, working on your breath. Full inhales, full exhales, and a steady gaze forward. Take one more breath. And then exhale and release the arms back down to your sides. Good. Move this block out of the way. Find your yoga strap. This next arm position is called GOMUKHASANA, cow face arms. It's half of a seated pose. We're going to learn the arm action here in Tadasana. Again, finding your position with your feet, big toes together unless otherwise indicated by your condition. Take your yoga strap and place it over your right shoulder. Just loop it right there. Maybe you'll need it, maybe you won't, but it's handy right there for you if you should. Now, reach your right arm straight forward. Turn the inner arm to the outer arm and let the palm face up as you do this. So the inner arm rolls to the outer arm. Now, keeping the arm straight, lift it right above your head. Get it right next to your ear, and then bend your elbow and bring your hand to your back, right between your shoulder blades. The elbow faces straight up, the front ribs draw in, the feet press down. Now, catch hold of that strap. Now reach your left arm forward, palm facing midline. Or do the opposite action with the arm on this side. Turn the inner arm rolls down, the outer arm rolls to the inner arm. So turn your palm to face away, turn your palm to face the left. And then bend the elbow and bring the hand behind your back. So the back of your hand is touching your spine. Turn the fingers up and see if you can find or feel your way to the strap. Now maybe you can catch hold with your fingertips or you can keep working with that strap. Broaden your collarbones, look straight ahead. Make sure your right upper arm is not pressing on your neck or pressing on the side of your head. Deep breath here. If you're holding onto the strap, pull on the strap a bit more. If you're locking fingertips, pull on those fingertips a bit more. One more breath in. And we're going to slowly release. We're going to let those arms come back the same way they came in. Challenge yourself. Let go of the strap or the fingertips. Lift the right arm and bring it down to your side. Release the left arm and then bring it down to your sides. Switch sides with the strap. And then reach your left arm forward. Inner arm to outer arm, palm faces up. Lift your left arm and then bend your elbow and touch the space between your shoulder blades. Feel for the strap. Reach your right arm straight out and do the opposite action. Turn the palm down and away and then sweep the arm behind your back. Turn the fingertips up and catch hold of the strap. You can use the strap or maybe the fingertips touch. Either way gets your job done. Front ribs tuck in, feet press down. Breathing here, nice steady gaze forward. Can you broaden the collarbones? Can you roll the heads of the shoulders back? Can you keep your left elbow facing straight up and your right elbow facing straight down? Pull on the strap or the fingertips. Take one more breath. And then releasing your bind, let the arms come back to Tadasana the same way that you brought them into this pose. Good work. You move your strap out of the way. One more arm position to introduce for you here. Those shoulders should, well, you should start to feel a little something in them. This is called PASHIMA NAMASKARASANA. Pashima means western, the back side of our body. Namaskar means prayer or to honor within. So bringing our hands together in prayer, but behind our back. Let's give it a try. Reach your arms straight out to the side like you're going to give the whole world a big hug. Now, turn the palms down and away, just like you did with one of the arms in GOMUKHASANA. Bend the elbows and bring the palms to face away from you, backs of the hands to the spine. Now, this may be right where you stay for now, and you might even be able to just catch hold of your wrists. Now, if the wrists are working, maybe you can catch hold of your upper arms. If this is working, maybe you can give Pashima Namaskar a try. Do this. Slide the hands apart. Turn the fingertips up. Lean forward just a little bit. This will help you get those hands together. And keep working those hands up to between the shoulder blades so you feel the pinky side of your hands touching. And then when you stand up, straight again, whoop, those palms come together. Deep breath here in whatever arm position you have chosen. If you're holding wrists, hold those wrists with confidence and breathe deep. If you're holding elbows, celebrate that. Hold them with confidence and breathe deep. If your palms are together in Pashima Namaskar, dedicate it out to someone who can't do this. Take one more breath. And then slowly releasing your bind, sliding the arms back out, turn the palms to face forward, and then release your hands down next to your sides. Good work. Give those shoulders a little roll around. Our next pose is VRKSASANA tree pose. Take your hands to your hips. You can also do this near a wall if you're working on your balance, or you can take a chair and bring it to your mat, and you can use that for balance too. So standing in Tadasana, hands to your hips, turn your right foot out 90 degrees, inner thigh to outer thigh. Same thing you did with the arm, right? Inner arm to outer arm, same thing here with the thigh. And the hip tucks under. Now lift your right heel, draw your left hip in and down, and then slide your right heel to your inner left ankle. Keep the front of the body lifting and your bandhas engaged. If everything is going well for you here, pelvis is facing forward, torso is facing forward, you can lift your foot up off of the mat and take it to your shin. If everything's going fine here, you can always catch hold of the ankle and draw the foot up into the inner thigh. Bring your palms together once you've determined the proper position for you today, and then lift your arms above your head. Breathing here, pressing the right knee down and away, using your bandhas. Lift up a little higher with those arms. Take one more breath in. Exhale, palms together. Namaskarasana, sternum chest. Hands to your hips. Release your foot back down to the mat. Bend your knees and lift your arms for UTKATASANA, chair pose, or fierce pose is the actual translation. Rolling the buttocks down towards your back heels, lifting the sternum chest, straighten those arms. Take one more deep breath in right here. And then exhale, fold forward, straightening the legs gently as you allow the head to come down into Uttanasana. Bring your hands to your shins. Take a half lift, look forwards and up. Exhale, bow back down, plant your fingertips on the mat, and then step back with your right foot into a high lunge, and then step back with your left into downward facing dog. Taking a circling the winds vinyasa. Inhale forward onto your knees. Exhale, rounding spine and pressing back. Inhaling, looking forwards. Exhaling, lowering down. Inhaling, reach your arms back next to your sides. Lift your chest. Hold this, hold this, hold this. Exhale, hands come next to your middle ribs, forehead back to mat. Inhale up to all fours. Exhale back to child's. Inhale up to all fours, look up. Find a little back bend between the shoulder blades. Tuck toes under, straightening arms, lift hips. Back to downward facing dog. Take a breath or two here. And then look to your feet and walk, or look to your hands and then walk to your feet, walk your feet to your hands. Bow your head, release your hands from the mat. Take your hands to your shins, a little half lift. Exhale, bow back down. And hands to your hips, straight spine, come all the way up, then straighten your legs, reach your arms up to the ceiling, up to the sky, palms together. Exhale, sternum chest, Namaskarasana, hands to your sides in Tadasana. Side B tree pose. Bring your hands to your hips. Turn your left foot out 90 degrees. Lift your heel. Draw your right hip in and press down into all 4 points of that right foot. Looking forward, slide your left heel to your inner right ankle. If this is going well, take your foot to your shin. If this is going well, take your heel up into your inner groin. These are just variations of VRKSASANA, tree pose. Lift your arms. One is not better than the other, they're just different. Breathing here, press down into your right foot to lift up a little higher with those arms. Keep your gaze steady, your face relaxed. Take a deep breath in, palms together. Exhale, sternum chest, hands to hips. Bring your foot to the earth, big toes touch, little space between the heels. Inhale and lift your arms for Utkatasana. Deep breath here, sink the hips just a little bit more, and do take a peek down at your toes from time to time in this pose, making sure that you can see your toenails. We don't want the knees to travel past the toes. Take one final breath in right here, and then exhale, fold forward, bow forward, straighten the legs, tuck the chin into the chest, Uttanasana. Again, circling the winds. Inhale, reach the chest forward, look up. Exhale, fingertips to mat. Inhale, look forward, step back with your left foot, high lunge, and then step back with your right to downward facing dog. Breathing in as you come forward onto your knees. Breathing out as you roll the hips back to the heels. Breathing in, link breath with movement, slide forward. Exhale and lower down. Reach your arms back next to your sides and inhale, lift your chest. Squeeze shoulder blades together, press toenails down. Exhale, forehead to mat, bend elbows, plant hands next to middle ribs. Inhale up to all fours. Exhale, back child's. Flow forward, inhale and gaze up. Tuck toes under and lift hips. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. 2 or 3 breaths right here. Lift your kneecaps. Press back with the upper thighs. Don't steal from one part of your body to support the other. Try to be equally weighted on both feet. Firm both legs. Press away with both hands. Now look to your hands. And inhaling, walk yourself to your hands. Exhale and bow. Release your hands from the mat. Take your hands to your shins. Half lift. Exhale, bow. Rise all the way up. Hands to your hips. Come all the way up. Lift your arms. Bring your palms together. Hands to sternum, chest, and hands to your sides. Our next practice is a little bit of a flow, and we're going to incorporate Trikonasana, Virabhadrasana 2, and Utthita Konasana. So coming onto your mat, stand in the middle of your mat, facing the long side of your mat. This is a good time to get a little drink of water and adjust yourself if you need to. Now here on your mat, bring your hands to just above your chest with your fingertips touching. Bend your knees, coming into your UTKATASANA squat. Make sure you can see those toes. And firming your bandhas, lower bandhas. Inhale, step or hop your feet wide. HASTA Padasana. Turn your right foot out 90 degrees, your left foot in just about 30 for Hasta Padasana, moving into triangle pose. Take a deep breath up the front of the body. Firm the thighs. Press left thigh back. Exhale, reach over to the right and bring your right hand to your shin, lightly on your shin. Reach your left arm up to the sky. Roll your right inner arm to your outer arm. Stretch through the sides of your body. Stretch through the crown of your head. Turn to look up. One more breath here in triangle pose. Press into your back left heel to come up. Inhale and come up. As you exhale, keeping this left leg firm, bend your right knee into Virabhadrasana 2. Your front knee tracking right over your front foot. Left thigh pressing back, outer left heel pushing down. Take one more breath here. As you exhale, bring your right forearm onto your right thigh. And with your left arm, just track it along the horizon. Sweep it straight forward, and then over your ear, turn to look up. Turn the torso to face forward. Bring your right ribs forward and your left ribs back. One more breath here, and rising back up. Keep your lunge strong. Come into Warrior 2. Come into Virabhadrasana 2. Now bring your back hand to your back thigh. Turn your front palm to face up. Sweep it above your head and woo! Reverse Warrior 2. Keep that lunge strong. Take one more breath. And now you get to cartwheel your hands. It's so fun. Cartwheel your hands. Bring your fingertips to the mat. Lift your back heel and spin it to face the back of the mat. And then step back to downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Push back into your thighs. Inhale, finding the breath. Come forward onto your knees. Exhale, untuck your toes and roll it back. Inhale, Inhale, this time we're going into Cobra Pose, Bhujangasana here. Inhale, slide forward. Exhale, lower down. Have your hands right next to your middle ribs. Keep them there. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Inhale, lift your chest. Use your back muscles to lift. And then just gently pull back with your hands to stretch the sternum chest forward a bit more. Dig your toes in, toenails in, pull back with the heels. Your knees are lifted off of the mat. Your pelvis is on the mat. Take one final breath. And we're taking it all the way back on an exhalation to child's pose. Inhale and come forward, look up, tabletop gaze up. Tuck toes, exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. 2 breaths, and inhale, using those bandhas, keeping them engaged, working on that. Exhaling without losing Mula Bandha, Rodhana Bandha. And now look to the front of your mat. And as you inhale, step yourself to your hands. As you exhale, bow and release your hands from the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, Uttanasana. Hands to your hips, come all the way up. Then reach hands to the sky. Bring the palms together. Exhale, sternum, chest. Hands to your sides. Turn to face the long side of your mat for side B. Standing in Tadasana, bend your elbows. Bend your knees. Inhale, step or hop. Hasta Padasana. Left foot turns out for Parsva Hasta Padasana. Moving into Trikonasana, firming your right leg, pressing down into your right heel. Deep breath in. And exhale as far over as you can. Lightly rest your hand on your shin. Reach your right arm up to the sky. Turn the rib cage to face forward. Lower ribs move forward, upper ribs move back. Pressing into that back thigh, pushing into your back heel. Take one more deep breath in, and then inhale and rise up, moving right into Warrior Two. Exhale, bend your front knee. Take a nice strong lunge in that front thigh. Keep the chest lifted, the shoulders right over the hips. Deep breath up the front of the body, firm the arms. As you exhale, bend your left elbow and rest it lightly on that front thigh. And then sweep your right arm along the horizon, over your ear, and turn to look up. Keep your back leg working. Try to balance the weight equally on both legs here. Yeah, don't steal from that back leg by pressing into the front too much. Take a little more weight into that back leg. Don't be violent. Practice AHINSA here. Soften a little something. Here we go. We're going to come back up. You're going to come to Warrior Two. On an in-breath, keep your lunge strong. Those legs don't move. Inhale, up to Warrior Two. Bring your back hand to your back thigh. Turn your left palm to face up and sweep that left arm above your ear. Keep your lunge strong. And make this an offering. A beautiful, beautiful physical offering to the divine. One more breath in. And now we get a cartwheel. Exhale. Cartwheel the arms. As the fingertips come down to the mat on either side of your front foot, lift your back heel and have it face the back of the mat. Then step back, downward facing dog. One more circling the winds vinyasa here. Inhale, come forward onto your knees. Exhale, round your spine. Press your hips back to your heels. Inhale, look forward, slide forward. Exhale, and lower down. Hands next to your middle ribs, elbows squeezing into your sides. Inhale, lift your chest for Bhujangasana. Pull gently back with the arms to broaden the collarbones. Dig in with the toenails, reach your heels back, lift your knees off the mat, and then scoop the buttocks towards your heels. You might feel your belly lift away from the mat just a little. That's a good thing. Take one more breath, and then exhale, forehead to mat. Inhale. come up to all fours. Exhale, round your spine, child's pose. Inhale, back to all fours, and gazing up, finding the back bend between the shoulder blades. Exhale, tuck toes, lift hips, and press it back. URDHVA. Deep breath here, 5 breaths here now. Or you can come down to your knees and take child's pose, either with your arms forward or your arms back. We all need to take breaks in our practice, and maybe this is the time for you to take that break. Finding the breath, relaxing the face. If you've taken an alternative pose, come back to downward facing dog now. Now look to the front of your mat, look to your hands, and inhaling, walk yourself to your hands. Exhale, bow, release hands from mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward extension. Hands to your hips. Rise up with a straight spine. You can keep a little bend in your knees if the lower back is sensitive. Reach your arms up to the sky. Exhale, palms together to sternum chest. Hands to your sides. Close your eyes and take a few breaths here in Tadasana, mountain pose. Notice how your body's feeling, the temperature. How is your breath? How is your heartbeat? Open your eyes. And this next pose is PRASARITA PADOTTANASANA, wide-legged forward extension pose. It is preparing you for Shirshasana headstand one day, but we have to have the basic alignment before we can get to our Shirshasana. So PRASARITA PADOTTANASANA today, find your blocks and place them at the front of your mat about shoulder distance wide. You can be on the long side of your mat, facing the long side of your mat. And then stand behind your blocks, bend your elbows, bend your knees, inhale to HASTA Padasana. Make sure that your feet are in line with each other, and make sure that the toes are facing forward. The big toes are just slightly in, just a little bit in with those big toes. Then lift your inner ankles, lift your inner knees, lift from your inner knees all the way up to your inner groins. Firm your pelvic floor, Mula Bandha. Firm your belly lock, Uddiyana Bandha. And now reach your arms wide out to the sides. Turn your palms down. Turn your palms away. And then sweep the arms behind your back and find PASHIMA Baddha HASTA, holding on to your wrists or holding on to your elbows, or PASHIMA NAMASKARASANA, reverse prayer position with the hands. Roll the shoulders back, and again, pressing down into the feet, all 4 points, especially the outer edges. Firm the thighs, firm the belly, gaze up. As much stretch and extension through the front of the body as you can. And then as you exhale, come forward, hinge at the hips, keep those legs firm, and fold forward. Taking a few breaths here with your hands in the chosen Western position. Lift your shoulders away from your ears to let your neck release and lengthen and relax. Final breath with your hands in this position. Now exhale and release your hands down to the mat. Take your hands to the blocks. Walk the blocks in so that they're in line with the inner arches of your feet. The blocks can be at any level that is necessary for you to be able to keep your hands on the blocks, okay? Now, concave spine, press your hands into the blocks and look forward. Feel your feet, keep your toes spreading. Your breath deep, reach the chest forward. One more inhale. Bend your elbows straight back and lower the torso down for 5 breaths. If your elbows are bending deeply, that means you can take the blocks down a level, or maybe you don't even need the blocks. Regardless of the height of the block, attempt to pull your torso through your thighs. You're drawing those elbows towards the back, lifting the shoulders away from the ears, and letting the head release down. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Now come halfway up. Breathe in and smile. Bend your knees a little bit. Heel toe your feet in just a tiny bit, maybe once or twice. And then take your hands to your hips and straight spine as you come up. Good work. Very healthy for your brain. You turn upside down like that, it's like a mini facelift every time. Now, move your blocks to the long side of your mat. Move your blocks to the short side of your mat. And come up to standing. With your feet hips distance wide. And the blocks are maybe just about a foot in front of you and just a little to the outside of the pinky toes. Take your hands to your hips. Press down into your feet, lift your chest. Exhale, come forward for Uttanasana, forward extension pose. Take your hands to the blocks. Bring the blocks in next to your little toes. Come halfway up. Concave spine and straight legs. Pressing down into all 4 points of the feet. Reach the chest forward. Reach the center of the hamstrings up. And reach from the center of the hamstrings down. Stretch the back of those thighs. Take 1 more breath in. Pressing into inner and outer heels. Exhale, bend elbows and come down. Keep lifting the kneecaps and letting the shoulders lift away from the ears as well by pressing down into the blocks. Drawing the torso closer and closer to the thighs. 2 more breaths. Full exhales. Come halfway up. Inhale, look up. Bring your hands to your hips and exhale up the rest of the way. Now move your blocks out of the way. Pashima, Baddha, Hasta in Uttanasana. Finding your foot position in Uttanasana. If it's appropriate for you, bring the feet all the way together. If you have any of the aforementioned situations with the lower body, keep working with your feet hips distance wide. Everyone, reach your arms wide and give the whole world a hug. Wouldn't that be wonderful to be able to do? Turn your palms to face away. Bend your elbows, bring your hands behind your back. Now slide the hands together, catch onto the wrists, or reach for the upper arm bones just past the elbows. If you're choosing this option, don't let those front ribs jut out and the tailbone lift. Bring the tailbone down and your front ribs in. Push your back ribs into your arms. Now, gazing up, inhale. Straight legs, come forward, exhale. Pashima Baddha Hasta in Uttanasana, legs together. Deep breath. You may notice if your feet are together, that it takes a little more balance, a little more focus, a little more control. Use your bandhas. Let your head and neck release down. Take 1 final breath. Inhale and rise up. Exhale and release your arms down to your sides. Back to Tadasana. Good work. 1 more standing pose for you today, but you need your strap. Find your strap. This last standing forward extensions, you see why they're called that? You're extending forward, right? Yeah? So all forward extensions. Forward extensions stretch the western side of your body, the whole back side of your body. forward extensions also are very calming to the nervous system. They're very soothing, they're restorative in most instances. They can be intensely restorative, but you're always giving your heart a little bit of a break, and you're giving your head a little bit of a break when you fold forward. All right. So you find yourself in a stressful situation in the next few days, just look at that person who is helping you create that stressful situation and tell them, excuse me, I need to go do my yoga, I need to go do some forward extensions, I'll be right back. It really works. So this is another forward extension. It's called PADANGUSTHASANA, or hand to foot pose. Okay? We're going to use a strap today. I want you to take the strap and place it underneath the balls of your feet. So place it down on your mat and then step onto it so that you're pretty much in the center of your mat, of the strap. And bring your feet all the way together if it's appropriate for you today. Otherwise, work with those feet hips distance wide. Okay? And then come up to standing. So rather than grabbing onto our big toes with our fingers, we're going to grab onto the strap. Watch me and then we'll do. PADANGUSTHASANA, hand-foot pose, hand-to-foot pose, okay? Let's do it all together. You got your strap ready? Take your hands to your hips. Now gazing up, lifting the front of the body. Mr. Iyengar says to ground down, to rise up, and to rise up, to ground down. Hands to your hips, inhale and rise up, deep breath in. Feel the strap underneath your feet, keep your bandhas firm. Exhale and fold at the hips, hinge at the hips, and come down. Take a hold of the strap on either side of your feet. Inhale and come halfway up. Pull on the strap, pull on the strap. You're trying to make the strap long, you're trying to break this strap. Pull on the strap, reach the chest forward, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Now exhale, bend your elbows out to the side and up towards the sky. Let the head release down. Keep pulling on this strap. Keep this bind. Lift from the center of your hamstrings up and lift from the center of your hamstrings down. Stretch from the belly of the muscle. Do the same with the back of your shins. You get a nice stretch in the belly of the center of the back of your shins. One more breath here, and then you've got it. Come halfway up, inhale. Hands to your hips. Exhale the rest of the way up. You feel restored? It's a lot of work in that one. Go ahead and come off the strap. Move the strap to one side and then come to the short side of your mat. And we're going to take a Circling the Winds Vinyasa. It's your last one of this practice. Take Circling the Winds Vinyasa, but we're going to add in VIRABHADRASANA 1, Warrior 1. Hands down next to your sides, feet in the appropriate position for you. Inhale, bandhas engage and arms lift. Exhale, lengthen forwards and come down. Inhale, the music of your breath. Exhale, plant hands on mat, fingertips. Inhale, look forward, step back with your right foot and step a little over to the right as you do. Now, that back heel is going to come down to the mat and the back toes, the back right toes face the front right corner of your mat. Lunge is strong on the left foot and the left hip draws back. Here's VIRABHADRASANA 1. Inhale and rise up, lift your arms and lean back. Exhale, float your hands back down to the mat and step, lifting your back heel, step back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale and flow forward onto your knees. Exhale and round your spine. Press it back. Flow forward as you inhale. Lower down as you exhale. Hands next to your middle ribs. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Pull back with the arms. Pull back with the toes. Exhale, forehead to mat. Inhale, rise up to all fours. Exhale, round spine, roll back. Inhale, graceful, flow forward, gaze up. Exhale, tuck toes, lift knees, downward facing dog. Now look to the front of your mat and inhale, step. Or maybe if you're using your bandhas, you can take a little hop to your hands and bow your head. Hands to your hips, inhale. Exhale, forward extension. Hands to the hips, come all the way up. Lift your arms above your head. Exhale, hands to sternum, chest. Hands to sides. We repeat. Inhale, lift arms. Exhale, flow forwards and bow to your lotus feet. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fingertips to mat, bow back down. Now inhale, look forward and step back with your left foot into a high lunge. And make sure you stepped over to the left a bit as you do. Now plant your back heel on the mat so that the back toes are facing the front corner of your mat. Draw back through your right hip. And then inhale and rise up. Virabhadrasana 1. Lean back with those thumbs. Lift the chest. Gaze up. Exhale. Flow forwards and step back, lifting back heel. Flow back to downward facing dog. Inhale forward into all fours. Exhale, untuck toes. Press hips to heels. Inhale, slide forward. Exhale and lower down. Inhale, rise up, cobra. Pull back with the arms. Broaden your chest. Keep your belly firm. Exhale, forehead to mat. Inhale, up to all fours. Exhale, back to child's. Inhale, up to all fours and gaze up. Tuck your toes under and lift your hips, downward facing dog. Take your feet wide to the sides of the mat. Push back into the thighs and lift your shoulders away from your wrists. Keep those arms strong and honest. 2 more breaths. Now look to the front of your mat. We're just going to come down to our knees. Inhale and come down to your knees. Bring your big toes together. Keep your knees wide and roll the hips back. A nice 5-breath child's pose. The hardest work is done. Let the head rest on the mat. And the arms can come back next to your sides with the palms face up if that is more comfortable and relaxing for your shoulders. Wherever you're at, celebrate what you've done here. It was good work. And slide your hands forward if you've taken them back next to your ankles and rounding your spine. Just slowly press yourself back up to kneeling. Good work, yeah. All right, let's come to seated. Let's do a couple seated poses and then Shavasana. Find your blanket. Place your blanket underneath your hips and straighten your legs for Paschimottanasana. Another forward extension, Western stretch. You should be starting to learn these terms by now, right? Find your strap. Place the strap on the balls of your feet and lift your chest. Straighten your arms. Sit right on the edge of your blanket. Pressing down into your upper thighs. Take a deep breath in and gaze up. As you exhale, bend your elbows, draw the torso towards the thighs, the crown of the head towards the feet. Again, if your elbows are bending deeply, you can crawl your hands to your feet. If you've got the space, you just catch hold of the toes. Thumb comes to the top of the big toe mound, and the other 4 fingers wrap around. Elbows lift, and they draw back. Breathing here. Slow your breath down and smooth it out. Giving your heart a little bit of a break here. Fill your back with breath. Preparing to lift, inhale, straighten arms and gaze up. Exhale, bring hands back next to your hips for Dandasana, staff pose. And then release your pose. Come off your blanket. Place your blanket at the back of your mat so it's ready for you in Shavasana. And then find your yoga block. And slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, lower yourself down. Tuck belly in towards spine, tailbone in, and just roll yourself slowly down to the mat. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana bridge pose. We want to make certain we don't turn our head in this pose once the hips are up off of the mat. So when your hips are lifted in this pose, no turning the head. Okay? Let's all do. With your heels in close to your hips, your feet facing forward and hips distance wide, reach your arms down next to your sides and just look up at the ceiling or the sky, wherever you're at. Take a few breaths and notice where you're resting on the back of your head. That's the place, once the pose is complete, you want to still be on. Turn your palms to face up, tuck your shoulders under. Now let's prepare to lift our hips, and remember, don't turn your head. Tuck the tailbone under, and start to lift the glutes, pressing down into the feet. Send your knees forward, your sacrum up towards the ceiling. Now find your block, and slide your block underneath your sacrum at level 1 or level 2. The block is on the sacrum. It's not on the lower lumbar spine. That's very important. If the block is on the lower spine, it's going to fatigue it. It's going to ache a little bit. And that's not what we're here for, right? So it has to be on the sacrum and a little bit of that cushioning of the upper glutes. Now, arms down next to your sides, turn your palms to face up. Tucking the shoulders under once more, feel your collarbones spread, your front ribs spread. We're going into Ekapada Sarvangasana, so still looking up at the ceiling, reaching your sternum bone towards your chin. Bend your right knee a bit more, lift your right foot up off of the mat, and then straighten the leg up to the ceiling. And point the toes, or flex the foot, or go somewhere in between. Just going to notice where you feel the need for the stretch. Your left foot is still involved here. Press down into all 4 points of that left foot and squeeze the inner thighs towards midline. The left knee stays right in line with your foot and your hip. Take one more breath. And then exhale and release the legs smoothly back down to the mat. Side B. As you inhale, lift your left foot up off of the mat and bring the thigh in nice and close to the chest. And then exhale and straighten your leg up to the sky, up to the ceiling. And again, pointing the foot, or flexing the foot, or finding something in between, wherever you need the stretch today. Pressing down into the right foot, keeping all 4 points of that foot engaged, and the inner thighs moving towards each other. Reach the sternum bone towards the chin, But stay on that special place on the back of your head. Don't tuck your chin into your chest. Keep your gaze soft and skyward. Take one final breath. And then exhale, and just as slowly and smoothly release your leg. Find both feet on the floor. Take a few breaths here, and we're going to move into both legs lifted in this pose. The only time you would not want to lift both legs is if you are experiencing some vertigo, some dizziness in your head, or if you are a woman and you're on your cycle, okay? If that's the case for you in either one of those positions, in conditions, just keep your feet on the floor for this part and take it as more of a restorative pose. Later, you can lift the legs. So lifting the legs now, bring the right leg in and lift the right leg. And then now the balance, lift your left leg and bring those legs straight up to the sky. Spread the toes, firm the thighs, lift the sternum chest towards the chin, breathe and balance. Again, remembering that special place in the back of your head. Keep that on the mat to keep the neck relaxed. Palms are facing up, thumbnails are touching down. 2 more breaths. And the legs come down just as slowly as they came up. Exhale, right leg down. Left leg down. Balance your sacrum on the block. Stretch your abdomen. Send your knees forward, press your feet down. Take one final breath here. And now lift your heels. That will help you lift your hips high enough to get up off of the block. Slide the block off to one side, out of the way. And then catching hold of your flesh and your back. Stretch it as you roll yourself down, vertebrae. Good. Draw your knees into your chest. Hold on to the backs of your thighs. Separate the thighs. You can turn your head now. Separate the thighs and squeeze the thighs in towards your side waist. Keep your sacrum on the mat. And just rock side to side. Give that area that was just holding the block, give it a little massage. And then come to center with the legs. Now, keeping your legs wide, flex your feet. Release your hands from your thighs and bring your hands between your legs. So palms together. And reach those arms between the legs. Now, you're going to catch hold of the back of your ankles or your shins with your palms. So separate your hands, catch onto the back of your ankles or your shins, and then maybe you can get to the outer heels. The important part of this pose is just keeping that sacrum on the mat. So if that means for you, you're holding more onto your shins or a little closer to the backs of the knees, that's a better pose than lifting the sacrum and trying to catch hold of the feet. So just find the place that has integrity. Your spine is resting on the mat. And then press the thighs down. Deep breath. Nice inner groin stretch. Rock side to side. And this becomes just kind of a common name as happy baby pose. Supta Balasana, reclining baby pose. And then back to center. And then unwind your arms and give yourself a happy little hug. Bring the legs together. Take your hands to your kneecaps. Straighten your arms. Take a deep breath in. A full breath out. And as you exhale, bend those elbows. Squeeze the knees into your chest. Bring your forehead to the knees. Inhale, head back to mat. Exhale, straighten the arms and press the knees away from you. Keep a hold of the kneecaps. Again, deep breath in. Full breath out. Squeeze the thighs in. Lift the head to the knees. Round the spine. Curl up. Little tiny. And then inhale, head back to mat. Exhale, straighten arms. Bring your feet back down to the mat. Cross your right leg over your left, nice and tight, so the inner thighs are touching. You've got the legs well engaged, zipped up. Lift your left foot up off of the mat and catch hold of those knees again. And just a little rock side to side if it feels good. If it's hard to hold on to the knees or hard to hold on to the shins, you can use your strap and bring it around those shins. You'll feel a stretch a little more into the outer hips here, and that's a good thing. Your IT band right in through here. Keep your sacrum on the mat. And these are GOMUKHASANA legs. You did the arms earlier. Take a deep breath in. You're going to release the legs, release your bind, and float the left foot back down to the mat. Bring your arms nice and wide. And if you don't have the space to have your arms out into a T shape, bend the elbows and use an I surrender. I surrender to my yoga. I surrender to the divinity that resides within me, that guides me. Shift your hips a few inches over to the right. Let your knees roll over to the left. Lift your head, turn your head to the right, and set your cheek down. Set your ear down. Breathe here and wring it out. Press down into your right shoulder blade, your right upper arm, lower arm, back of your hand. Final breath in, final breath out, and then rise back up with the knees and the head. Uncross your legs. Shift your hips back in line with your spine. Cross your left leg over your right, nice and tight. Snuggle those legs together. Then lift your right foot up off of the mat and catch hold of your shins or your knees or use your strap. Roll the sacrum down to the mat. Soften the side waist and let it relax down towards the mat as well. Your side waist is right between your upper pelvic rim and your lower ribs. Just that area right in through there. Just let it settle down in. To the mat, relaxing and releasing. And then again here, if a little rock side to side would be fun or enjoyable or feel good, do it. If it doesn't, don't do it. Stay right here and breathe. Final breath in, a full deep inhalation. Be very conscious of that breath. Breathe it in, and then breathing it out, release your bind, and bring your right foot back down to the mat. Now shift your hips over to the left a few inches, set them back down. Extend your arms back out once more, and then let the knees just roll over to the right. Lift your head, turn your head, and let your ear and your cheek come down towards the floor. Twisting and wringing it out, preparing your body and your mind and your breath for Shavasana, for the time to commune with your soul. Everything leading up to this moment has been a preparation for Shavasana. Inhale and come back up. As you exhale, uncross your legs. Bring your hips back in line with your spine. And now just let the knees relax and open up wide to the sides. Bring the bottoms of your feet together and then slide your hands so that one hand is over your belly and one hand is over your sternum chest. Close your eyes and take about 5 breaths here. Creating a healthy stretch in the inner thighs, inner groins, inner knees. Letting the side waist relax down, and if that means kind of tucking the buttock flesh under and moving it closer to your heels. Just press your feet together, lift your hips, and shift the buttocks towards the heels. Set them back down. Take a deep breath into your belly. Feel your belly expand. Now slide your hands down to your thighs and help them come back together. Straighten your legs and find your Shavasana. Your position for Shavasana should be a comfortable position for the body. Take your blanket and slide it underneath your head and neck. Take it right to the top of your shoulders. Take your feet wide to the sides of the mat and let the feet fall open, left and right, inner thighs roll open. You can even use your strap as a little bit of a blindfold just to kind of block out the light. You can take your strap and just place it across your eyes. And then arms come down next to your sides, shoulder blades tuck under, and then they spread, they open, they broaden like you're resting two dinner plates down on the floor. Let your collarbones relax and spread to match that width. Arms come down next to your sides and slightly away from your sides so that no part of your upper arm is touching your torso. Now, if in this position with the legs and the spine, the lower back feels a bit tight or overarched, bend your knees, bring your feet back to the mat, and just let the knees teepee in on each other. Just let them rest in on each other. And then that lower back receives a nice, comforting support of the mat. It broadens and relaxes. All together, take a huge breath in. Hold it in. Sigh it out. Let the face relax. Moisten your lips. Draw your tongue back into your mouth. And relax your tongue. That's a very important part. If the tongue is tight, if the teeth are clenching, and the brain is tight, and the brain is clenching, so relax inside your mouth. Next, the little muscles around your eyes. Let them broaden, widen, and soften so that the eyes behind those lids can relax and fall away from the inner lids. Sometimes when our eyes are closed, the eyes can still be deceptively busy behind the lids. And if the eyes are busy flitting about behind the lids, your brain is busy flitting about inside your head. So to calm the mind, to find that relaxation, that peace that we all crave, that we all need. Relax your eyes. And let your inner gaze, your drishti, be behind the sternum bone, to the seat of the soul, to yourself. Spend some time here with yourself. Your true self, your perfect self. Relax your nostrils. And your throat. Relax the little muscles around your ears. Relax your inner ears. Withdrawing your senses one by one. Relax your skin. And yes, this takes some practice, but that's what you're here for, right? So let the skin, or imagine the skin, softening and releasing away from the muscle. Tune in to the inside sensations. Your breath, your heartbeat, the blood coursing in your veins, the energy electricity in your body. We call that prana, yeah. Maybe now you can release just a little bit more, sink a little deeper into yourself. Maybe just a little bit deeper. Gently now, draw your awareness back to your breath. Taking a deep breath of gratitude for your body, for your life, for these opportunities. As you exhale, feel that breath is moving out of the body and creating space for your next inhale. A little deeper, a little fuller, like breathing in sky blue light. Let that light stream out to your fingers and your toes. Use your imagination. Breathe in sky blue light and stream it out to your fingers and your toes. Fill your whole body. And then, when you feel that, and you connect with that, start to bring a little motion back to your fingers and your toes. Just brush your thumbs across your fingertips. Give your toes a sweet little wiggle, a little wiggle of gratitude. They did a lot of work for you here in this practice. And then roll your ankles and your wrists around, little circles. Check in with the wrist and ankles. And turn your head side to side, ear to earth. Check in with your neck. And then with a little smile on your face, sweep your arms above your head. Take a deep, full breath in to stretch it out. Sigh it out. Bend your knees and bring your feet to the mat. Shift your hips a few inches to the left and roll all the way over onto your right side. Curl up, right side, maybe your right upper arm is a pillow. Take a few breaths into your back. And using the strength of your arms, very slowly, walk yourself up to seated. Keep the head heavy, so it's the last thing to rise up. Make it very graceful and very smooth. And then come to seated for your dedication. Left shin in, right to the outside, palms in Namaskarasan, chest lifts, eyes closed. Deep breath as we send the good merit of this practice, the good karma, we let it go. We stay unattached to the fruits of our actions. This keeps us properly motivated and on the right path. We give it away. Say here, please take this and use it for the best and highest good for all beings everywhere. May all beings everywhere be happy and healthy and safe and at peace. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Together we offer one Om to seal our practice of union. And again, it can be any sound that has significance to you, or makes you feel good. Exhale to begin. Inhale. Bow your head. Float the backs of your hands to your thighs. Slowly inhale, bring your chin back up to center, chest well lifted and bright. And then as you exhale, slowly and sweetly, flutter open your beautiful post-yoga practice eyes. I can't wait until we can all practice together again so I can see this part. It's my favorite. Thank you so much for being here, for being present, being part of this magical adventure into internet and virtual practice. I love you so much. Thank you for being my teachers. And I honor the divinity that resides within you. Namaste.